worked at all on attack and been shot down instantly. On defense, though, we see Shockwave always taking the first hit.
So will G2 go for that Ashe ban? Really, even if Joystick had the Ashe, I don't think it would have mattered anyway, because G2 were so far ahead in the early game. And, well, we will see that Ashe ban to specifically target ban Empire. And this is constantly, I talked about that we've seen Liquid versus G2. G2 swept Liquid on the defense, and G2 get the start on that. Yeah,
if we think about the bans here, I don't think that G2 really cares. I think they just don't know what else to ban. Because if we look at Villa, what operator could they have banned on attack or defense that would have impacted them? They were running the Echo to counter Monty, but that didn't work. They were running the Lesion, but he died instantly every round. The smoke didn't have that big of an impact because of the way the setup was. There were so many ways to get into sight. They weren't playing these heavy reinforced, you know, like structured defenses where you have anchor points that you just can't get past before you clear them. I don't think G2 is too worried about banning anything. They'll just, I mean, they might as well take Ashe, make him a little bit less comfortable, right? They're never needing, or they never really need Ashe on. They're comfortable enough playing Sophia if needed. She also has a bit more utility.
It's because G2 know that Empire do not change their attacking lineup. It has been a very strong, stable core. They're leaving Ying open, they're leaving Glaz, but G2 know that no way will Empire ever go for those operators because it's not their playstyle, what we've seen from other teams, for example, Penta as well. Moving in, we will have the first lineups locked in. Mute is a very nice pick. I love having those mute jammers, especially for that bottom floor, because you can kind of get those sneaky mute jammers where you place them on elevated positions, and then that entire bubble that the jammer brings will then disable drones trying to push in through yellow stairs, through the circle desk, in towards the anti-chamber as well. I love seeing those kind of jammers being placed.
And especially now with the Hibana change, we need 4 out of 6 to open a hatch. If you can jam just a few of those, it really limits, you know, the speed of which you can get a breach going. Plus, there are places where you can elevate it up so you get all the drones going through the main door into the circle desk. You can limit what we call C by the bench area and the double windows there out north. There are so many things that you can disrupt in terms of top floor and basement, or well, sorry, main floor and basement droning. Combine this with a Maestro camera placed upstairs to shoot some of the drones possibly, or put both of them downstairs to stop a defuse later on. And then, you know, Goga, give him one of his drones to try and hunt an attacking team, figure out where they're entering from, and save one for the post plant.
I love how many different callouts there is for that bench hallway. There's bench, there's zigzag, there's Zulu. I think G2 calls it Zulu. Already, we did see a bit of a spawn peek coming in from Jonas. He did light up Cypher just a little bit, but really nothing Empire have to worry about. He can certainly shake off those bullet wounds and continue on. And the droning finally being established by Empire, but like we said, those mute jammers certainly does limit them a lot more. And knowing Empire, they're going to try and sweep top down in towards mid floor and finally get Karzeka in there with that sledgehammer and start ripping up the entire floor of the garage and hopefully try and get a couple of picks there onto, you know, the Echo and the Maestro, those really big heavy anchors.
Empire seems a lot more comfortable here, or a lot more confident at least. They're clearing a lot faster than we saw in Villa. Sure, it is a bigger map, so I mean they both have to, and it is the right way to do it. But they're sprinting around top floor.
And they're just trying to sprint on in through the circle lesson because we have those mute jammers there. It means that they didn't know that somebody was going to be lurking in the circle desk. Cantor Oketi in such a peculiar position. This is an area which an easy frag grenade completely shuts you down and you can get pinched from so many different angles. But yeah, that is very unfortunate. And that's the Hibana, so those hatches will be here to stay.
And it's very rare that we see G2 play this way where one guy's... There we go, Panther taken out by Karzeka. It's very rare that we see G2 play this way where they lock down in a position where no one can come and help them. So I think this is something they intend to only do against Empire.
Minute left, a 3 versus 4. The garage wall has been opened up, but Maestro cameras underneath that van are the most trickiest things to deal with. They are so annoying but so strong, and that's why sometimes we see Maestro ban being a lot favored over compared to those Echo drones, which can be dealt a lot with easier because, you know, you have IQs typically. IQ a bit of a weird ban for most cases, but because Empire know that G2 love to play that operator, that's why they've done it. 30 seconds ago, and only Korzeka, he is starting with his sledgehammer, trying to find any angles he can, and certainly trying to clear out towards that yellow pillar, towards White Van, make sure it's an easy plant for Shepard, and also Pipes is a big area that they really need to try and disable anybody from G2 playing inside. Cypher has that utility from his lifelines ready to go and can start firing them in and trying to stun some of these players still lurking around the bomb site. Doesn't find anybody beside Pipes, and the White Van doesn't manage to land anything either. 5 seconds, the plant will have to come in. Cypher, great kill, that starts things off, but Yunus will be there with the refrag. That opens up the yellow stairs, but Gogo with the Echo Drone will disable that. I said that man was going to be on fire with his Echo Drones, and there he is.
They had so much set up here. If Maestro didn't take a quick hit, then there was no way they were going to get a plant off anyway, right? It's almost impossible nading the Maestro cams if they are placed underneath the White Van. You can't really Sophia them either because of the curve of Sophia. So Ash, Twitch, Thatcher is a good way to deal with them. Or you destroy the floor and piano and then open up that way. I'm surprised to see them go for a plant knowing, you're against a Maestro, a Pulse, and an Echo. I'd probably go for a kitchen, take maybe a Spiral, try and push into the security hallway and then get control of that security room instead.
If only they had an operator who could detect Echo Drones with a gadget. If only they didn't ban that said operator. Of course, they're going to ban IQ, predicting that whenever it comes through their defense, they'll play the Echo. That means G2 will start to struggle. But they forgot, we have to go through 6 rounds as well without our IQ to stop those Echo Drones. And G2, at every moment they can, Gogo will be playing that Echo. And it just came in to bite them like we've seen. And you talked about it, so many electronic devices that IQ is so good against, and it's just going to weaken Empire, and you could potentially see another 5-1 scoreline or maybe a 6-0.
And on top of that, we aren't even seeing a Thatcher. At least bring a Thatcher or a Twitch to go in and be able to take out these Echo Drones, and you can't destroy the Maestro cam with a Twitch drone, but you'll disable it for 10 seconds unless it is active while you set it. But it gives you that extra little time, that little breathing room to get a plant open.
Empire, they have 2 choices for attacking the top floor. You can either go for that B and yellow stairs push where you try and put as much utility as you can, or you do a little bit more room clear out. You try and take an admin and they will do just that. A quick aggressive repel from Shockwave. The cover being held by himself. Also a 2-man job there, but he's only doing it with 1 person. Jonas, a great position for him, can find out a lot of intel, but his team are starting to collapse and fall apart. Another player gone as Korzeka gets himself his kill with that L8. Certainly a player to look out for in Consulate. Sledge, a great operator, can use that destructibility with the hammer, but Jonas, that does pull back at least 1 kill for G2. And Tengu, there's the sledgehammer going to swing on in and get rid of that Evil Eye.
The initial kill we saw here in Kanto was probably a communication issue because Kanto opened that window and did not hear the guy repelling. And that's not normally something we see from them. So I assume this is where, callouts were getting a bit hectic, or he just simply missed the repel. That's definitely a big mistake from them.
Still those Echo Drones available for Goga and Co, and I'm loving the way that they've shot out the top of that soft wall. That means he can also echo anybody who wants to try and come in, not just the long desk, but also inside of A. Very, very nice Echo Drone. Jonas still alive, gonna go for the aggressive jump out. He sees somebody, but doesn't manage to land the shots enough. And here comes a Jackal ping as well. So 1 minute 20 to go. So if you're Empire in this situation, do you just stick with the head front, trying to force your way into the bomb site strategy, or do you maybe want to try and go for more picks because you have the time?
I mean, if you look at how G2 normally does it, I would probably chill out and go for single picks like they're doing here. Because again, the win rate on G2 in these 1v X situations is so good.
So down to Jonas, a 1 versus 4, and he's just gonna be flashed. They don't have a Ying, but those flashes certainly seem as if they did. And that should be an easy cleanup for Empire as they do fight back on an attacking round. And certainly I think that miscommunication error that Kanto, they lost him very early on, certainly does give Empire that very strong lead. And there we go, if we have Joystick and Korzeka still alive, it gives Empire a fighting chance against G2.
Yeah, I mean, if they can clear a position like where Kanto was playing that free with no gadget use or anything, like no one took damage, it wasn't even an exchange, right? Kanto got shot in the back of the head while crouched in front of the window because he didn't hear the guy repelling. That's really going to open up an attack for them and make it easier because they haven't been spending time, no utility. It gives them a little bit of hope that they can bring some out on that attack.
So second bomb site will go back up floor to the console office and the meeting room. So it didn't work last time for G2. Console is a map where, yeah, we have seen 4 bomb sites being defended quite easily by the defenders. That's why it favors the defender type of play, because the attackers will never know what bomb site the defenders will choose. Maybe we could have seen that split bomb site, or maybe the mid floor if they feel as if their top floor wasn't working as well as what it could, but they're going to have another go. If they lose this, then I could maybe see for the rest of the defender rounds them not going for the top floor. Maybe Empire much more stronger on attacking the top floor compared to other bomb sites. Nothing really changing on the lineup of either side. G2 still sticking with the free heavies, the free ACOGs, and also Eunice on the Pulse, giving that vital and crucial information. And that's where I like playing the Pulse on console, is because not only is it destructibility factor with the Nitro Cell, and there's plenty of destructible flooring, it gives you that early intel on what side that Empire are going to push. If you see them spawning towards that admin, then, oh, it's going to be an admin push. If you don't see them towards the admin push, oh, it's going to be yellow stairs.
Yeah, you get this quick west-east split running a Pulse. Same thing you could do with a Valkyrie. She is banned now, though. So, but anything from, honestly, you know, a spawn peek, as we saw Kanto do, will also give you that intel quite quickly. I don't think we're going to see Fabian taking out Shock here quickly.
Oh, he just jumps out
first
the
one
window. Does get refragged, however, and Shepard, look how far back he is inside of his spawn. Possibly just trying to hold the angle on the jump out in towards balcony, but hey, that's an immense trade by G2. Sure, they've lost the Jaeger, but not only has he done a bit of damage to the Capo, but also has eliminated the Habana as well.
And with, I assume, a bulletproof camera on Kanto and 2 Echo drones, 2 Maestro drones, it's not that big of a loss dying on defense, especially not when it's your IGL. Because he can jump around and really get some good intel here and micromanage his players if need be.
Jonas picks up 1 outside off that window. This is kind of the same engagement, and he wins that again, just like last time. Insane shots from the Finn. A free versus free, however, as Kanto once again has fallen inside of admin. Still, you have Pengu alive with the LMG. We know how good of a shot that guy really is. Jonas still, he's a threat as long as he is living. That cardiac scanner can see your heartbeats, he can see where you are, and time is slowly starting to tick down for Empire, but they have Joystick, they have Korzeka, but they're on low HP.
See, Joystick and Korzeka starting to really frag out again here. They were really struggling on Villa, you know, probably 5 rounds in when they had 3, 4 frags or something. Now actually making a big impact on the rounds here.
Attackers have located a bomb.
This is where Empire, they have to start moving. They need to put some pressure in towards the players of G2. This is certainly looking a lot better because they're heavies. They can tank a lot more. They have great guns. And because Empire are on low HP, this could be a very quick double kill for Pengu or Goga if they land a couple of their shots. We will see the pressure come in, and just like that, Goga will have the long angles, a double for him. And the last man remaining will be the Capo over towards the A balcony on the windows. 30 seconds to go. This should be a pretty successful round for G2 because they have the crossfires. As if we see Shepard jump in and pre-fire and try and kill Pengu, then Goga will be there, but Jeopardy wants to try and kill himself before that even happens and has rotated his way downstairs. And really, what does this give him? Okay, you shoot a camera, get yourself some points, but that's all he's gonna get. Is G2, they hold firm. The heavies did their job, the anchors did their job, and this is where we then come back to that point where anybody in G2 can play that support role.
Yeah, I think G2 is starting to get the defense set up now and you know, start locking it down again. If anything, I assume that we're going to see Empire do good on the attacks on all of the maps and then struggle a little bit more in defense, because this systematic super attack we see from G2 so often, where they allow the roamers to kind of walk into spots they can't get out of again. And they're just waiting for you to make a mistake. You got three minutes of just, you know, we're just going to slowly push from one side, and if you move into this corridor, this hole where you're never getting back, and we'll split you that way and then try and push the site. But on attack, especially on the bigger maps here like Consulate, it leaves a little bit of space for Empire to try and, you know, take it room by room.
Because there is maps where there's certain rooms that nobody ever goes near. For example, Villa, that entire basement is something that the attackers do not go near. Consulate is an area where more than likely, defenders could be in every nook and cranny that is inside Consulate, so they really have to work a lot harder for that win. They have to use a lot more utility and time to really drone out the entirety of the map. Consulate, one of those more smaller maps, you can fit the entire map just on the observer screen, which is, I believe, the only map that really does this. So it is, yes, pretty small, and it just big rectangle, that's all it is. It's very easy to work your way through and clear room by room, but it will be the garage that they'll go up against. Last time G2, they had those very sneaky mute jammers, and Empire have not learned from their mistakes because they're still not bringing a Thatcher.
Yeah, I would assume that G2 sticks with the top floor in the basement for as long as they can, and that they don't play the split at any point. So this should be fairly easy for Empire to read. But again, as you say, they stick with the same operators over and over again, and they're very stubborn in terms of trying to swap it up a little bit. It seems to always be more of a panic swap that they feel lost and have to change an operator than that they want to try and counter something. It's not that their operator lineup doesn't have what it takes to do an execute or anything, but there are things that could definitely alleviate the pressure just a little bit. Like a Thatcher would be great when you have literally every operator on the defense team is to some extent impacted by a Thatcher.
Yeah, that split bomb site, I don't believe we'll see that either, just because there's no Mira. That's a really big crucial operator that you need, and sometimes we see the Mira being played for Consulate teams think, oh, it doesn't really give you that much in terms of, the garage defense. What does it really do? It gives you a long angle that you could hold with just a simple ACOG. There's no really aggressive Mira windows, and for the most part, nearly every Mira window on the top floor can be countered extremely well. Still, Jonas is alive, and look at the intel he's gaining from this. Fabian, he's going to be predicting potentially the Buck trying to get rid of the bandit charges. However, misses the wrong side that Buck decided to go for. So a minute 30 to go. Still no deaths on either side, and this is where only Empire are going to start to work their way in, get the sledgehammer in, and eventually open up that beachhead in towards the bomb site.
That was a very interesting engagement there from basement all the way up to admin.
Kurzaka just trying to find anything he can the exact same way he did the first round. Finally does see a wild bandit, but doesn't land his shots, and that will be Fabian getting away just in the nick of time. Joystick Chill trying to hold these angles from above. Some very depth levels he's going to try and shoot on down and eliminate Jonas and his accomplice over towards that server side. And Empire, they need to start moving. They've still got no picks, and the Echo drones and the Maestro cameras are ever so looming. C4 kill from Kanto will be enough to pick up Kurzaka. However, Joystick drops and finds Fabian, who tried to rotate his way in. And last time Joystick, he lost his life in that position of a very long angle being held by Pengu. 30 seconds left. The plant will have to come in from Empire momentarily if they want to at least secure this round and pull it back to 2 rounds to 2. Pengu inside of pipes, and surprise, he's let to do this. Why is nobody in Empire holding the hatch? 10 seconds to go. Pengu could be the vital part in stopping this entire plant. Jonas, he finds Joystick. Pengu pre-fire towards yellow, but loses it. No, he doesn't. On to 5 HP, a double for him. 1 versus 4, and Cypher doesn't have enough time. Oh, well, Pengu, what a play from him.
Empire again, just stalling out way too long. The angle we saw Joystick hold up there, I mean, he does end up getting a frag there, and then getting the guy playing on the Visa stairs trying to push the site. But use your smokes, use that and try and help on the execute, right? You're not going to be pushing the garage or going for a white car plant or between, for that matter. As long as the Maestro and Echo are there, like, you have to try and counter that. An attack from the opposite side could be a way of dealing with it. Twitch droning in, removing the Echo drones, they aren't impossible to spot, and we saw both of them pre-placed in the first round by Goga, 1 on each side. I'm confused why there isn't more thought behind the attacks here.
So the third pick bomb site will be that mid floor. We can expect that split bomb site not really being touched because they don't have the Mira.
See 4 ACOGs on G2 here.
That's scary. That's scary if you're Empire in the way that G2 they have played it. We've seen a couple of spawn kills there and some very early aggression being led on by G2. But to be fair, mid floor we have seen quad ACOGs before.
Yeah. I mean, all the way back to when we actually started seeing teams play mid floor, it was always about having some of these super long ranges to the outside and kind of trying to keep the whole attacking team from not getting in the building. And it also, the places you have to plant on attack here. If you want to plant circle desk, it's right from outside and then you plant. It's very predictable because it's so hard to get, you know, bomb site control without taking top floor, without taking spiral. You gotta have yellow steers if you want to do piano. So you force people into these very readable attacks where you can rotate your defense operators around. And from almost every bomb spot, you can get an angle on one of these entries with an ACOG.
It's quite a risk going for mid 4 in some ways, because yes, you said there's a lot of work you have to do before you go into a plant, but if something seems unchecked and maybe the attackers think, you know what, let's try and rush and plant at that doorway. If a plant does be successful, then that's a lost round for defenders. It's one of the hardest retake positions you can do, because the attackers can sit miles and miles away inside of their spawn and hold an angle right into the middle of a massive doorway. It's kind of the same way that teams find it very hard to retake a garage as well. Already, we do see a couple of bits of utility. The drones being sent in, the flashbangs, Yunus on server stairs, along with some of his other teammates. Kanto lurking his way in towards that front desk, and also Pengu inside of bathroom. The ACOG certainly trying to do some work, and will they be able to challenge the ACOGs off the attackers? Kanto doesn't manage to find an head, but Empire just slowing down at the moment.
Lobby always seems to become this kind of a bluff bomb site where you try and gamble if the attackers actually have what it takes to plant in the lobby. And if you allow them to plant, it's almost impossible to retake. But if they do go for the plant and you do have either basement control, you can see for it up from one of the hatches. You can shoot it from the spiral stairs, from above the spiral stairs, the hatch. There's so many angles you can get on that main door. But we so often see it left uncovered because people are more worried about the anti-roaming squad going around trying to clear the top floor.
That roaming squad certainly has taken quite a hit as they've all decided to fall back down. I think the Jackal pings came in and it just kind of forced Kanto to fall back down after the hatch was opened by Pengu. He's at 45 seconds. Goga still has a yokai drone to try and deny the plant. He will get it set up. Another one upstairs, giving more crucial information to where some of these lurkers may be headed towards upstairs. Yunus, look at the intel he gains from that cardiac scanner, and Empire not trying to take control of the upstairs and try and push their way in and get the sledge in. They're going to try and force their way in through the front door. This is going to be quite the take if they manage to land the shots and manage to get a plant down, but I don't really see that happening. However, Shockwave, he will start things off, and that will be Goga going down. The diffuser has also been planted in the midst of that. That is such a surprise, but that's because Goga did get eliminated, and this is the risk that we talked about. G2, this is going to be such an incredible retake if they manage to perform it. Karzeka misses the shots, and Kanto, he will be forced off the diffuser as Karzeka finally won that gunfight against the Maestro. Down to Kanto Rakeri, no hope, as all the angles being held by Empire. And well, G2 just sleeping on that quick, aggressive push.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we were talking about, this bluff game on the main door. They had everything they could ever ask for to counter this. 4 ACOGs, there's a million ways to get an angle on exactly that spot. Especially if you go upstairs and just above the spiral, you can look through the floor there and stare right through the main door. They had, I assume, the bulletproof cam on dock, Maestro cams that could be placed there. They had the info from Pulse. Possible C4 could have come out if the hatch was pre-opened by Maestro earlier with his little shotgun sawdown pistol there. Echo drones, I mean, there was so much that could have been done to not allow that to happen. You saw the Echo drone being used upstairs in the hallway, actually, just as the plant was going down. So it's this thing where people are spending so much time worrying about initially not letting them plant, then giving up on that, going for stopping the attacking team of gaining the top control. And if the plant happens to be at the exact right time, you can sometimes sneak away with it with almost all defenders alive.
So back up to the top floor for the final defense of G2 and the final attack for Empire, unless we have been pushed to an overtime situation. So looking at G2, the way they've performed previously, they've had a very aggressive admin hold. It hasn't really worked. Kanto has, I believe, died twice to just simply Karzeka or Shockwave swinging on a window and shooting him outright. Last time Empire, they did struggle with the final execution, which I know that you brought up during the pre-talk about it. The Empire, if things go wrong, their final execution can be very lackluster and weak, and that's sometimes why we see Empire lose so many rounds that they do. They have some great starts, some great room clear-outs, but then the final time, whenever they've lost Karzeka, they've lost Joystick, they cannot push their way through and have that mentality to actually take a round after such a great start.
Yeah, there seems to be this amazing synergy between Joystick and Kasuga, but not so much any of the other players on the team. Especially when these guys fall, then you see them struggle a lot in their decision-making on an execute. We rarely see people, you know, try and choose between the right and the left door, but these guys will literally sprint from one to the other until they decide, okay, we're going over here. You can always see G2, for example, they will fully commit to a push to one direction, and if they cancel, they will fully commit to the other one. It's very readable as a viewer, not so much in-game.
That's going to be a kill from below. That's the only way you can get rid of a position that is in that very tight corner. You have to go below and shotgun and try and wallbang your way through, right up through the floor. Pengu, however, still alive, so maybe not the worst frag it could have been if that was potentially your Maestro being lost, or maybe Kanto on the dock. Could have been a bit more detrimental, but Fabian, sure, he's placed his ADS as he's done his job. It's not really too much of a worry, but still Empire, that gets things rolling, it gets them started, and they can finally push their way in, try and take admin, just like they've done nearly every single round before.
I mean, this is more of a mental victory taking out Fabian here than it is an actual, you know, deciding factor in a round, because again, he's fully active now on all the cameras, providing a lot of good info.
Another player joining him on the cameras will be Kanto as he loses another gunfight against Joystick. Last time it was Kanto doing all the fragging. This time Joystick is trying to take that away from him. Goes into a 4 versus 2. Some quick gunfires do happen as Pengu eliminates Joystick before Cypher eliminates Yuna. So Pulse off the board. Will Pengu go for the aggressive jump? He tried it, but no, it will be Shepard ready for that. 1 versus 4 down to Goga. Seems to be whenever it's a clutch situation, all hopes lie on the Spaniard Goga. Don't really see this one working out for you here, as surely Empire, they can get the drones in and just, yeah, Goga just can't do much against 4 players.
It's good to see Empire, though, slowing down a little bit and again, basically doing what G2 was doing against them on Villa. Allow a little bit of aggression to come out from G2, and then just wait for them to step into the lines of sight. We saw Joystick get 2 kills there without barely moving, right? They're not trying to push anyone out of a position. They're assuming that G2 will go for and challenge the fight because it's been going so well for them in the previous rounds.
Yeah, that's a bit of a trap that some teams fall into, is where they get just a little bit cocky for themselves and they have that confidence thinking, oh, maybe we could try and take the gunfights, but still, this is Empire. We have seen the devastation this team can do with the fraggers they have behind the mouse. Moving in, we do have the halftime switch, and it will be then Empire on these defenses. And you said yourself that you're going to see Empire, you think, struggle with these defense?
Yeah, I don't think, unless they can get a roam game off, I don't think they're able to bunker down and straight up beat G2 in terms of, you know, a strategic hold versus G2's attack. Especially if we refer to Villa, where when Empire was roaming, they seem to always be caught off position. The few fights they got in, if they ever got a kill, they got traded before anything could happen on the defense. They could never benefit or never get anything actual, you know, valuable trades out of that. So I still don't have too much faith in them on the defense. I do think that their attacks, and especially the Joystick Kazakh combo, is what really defines if they're winning a round or not.
So the setup will be implemented by Empire. It's a bit of a similar comp setup that what G2 did. I believe the only difference is that they have the mutes in for the upstairs defense rather than the Maestro, which was predominantly taken by Pengu on G2. The only time mute was actually brought out was for the bottom floor defense to try and get those sneaky elevated jammers to deny all of the drones. G2, will they attack from the admin or will they try and attack from the yellow stairs? We haven't seen any yellow stairs pushes from Empire. Will we possibly see it from G2? Doesn't seem to be the case, as most of them have spawned towards the admin and nobody inside of the admin as well. So Empire completely forfeiting that point that G2 wanted to hold so badly. Sure, maybe they expected that G2 have a great room clear out on the admin. It's a very capable clear out if you have 4 people on 4 windows holding the crossfires. You can't breathe, just like what Empire did to G2. And they just want to kind of save the resources and just let G2 play their game and then hopefully try and play aggressive with a couple of refrags.
I think affording giving G2 this top 4 so quickly, I don't think Empire can afford that. They have to challenge it just a little bit more. There's not even a minute off the clock now, and they already have like a third of top 4 control.
Joystick was lurking on the server stairs, but has been droned out and has been forced down towards the layers, and Eunice holding the angles from that hatch, and certainly he's going to be, I'd imagine, the kind of flank watch for that Joystick. We know that he has so much room potential. He has 3 sets of staircases, the server, the spiral, and the yellow for him to really do a lot of damage for the most part. Pengu will start spraying in towards the double window. He knows that one will be there, and just barely lands the shots. However, a quick refrags come in, and in the end of it, G2 will come out on top. The only person getting a kill from Empire will be Shockwave, as 2 players of his teammates do fall, and that's Joystick, who did try and rotate, gets eliminated. So a minute to go, and all in favor of G2.
Empire definitely having a little bit more luck with challenging G2 here on the runouts. They do get some of these frags, but again, they're allowing them way too much map control. Fabian running around downstairs trying to bug up through the floor to push him out behind the desk. There isn't a lot of challenge coming out from Empire on the defense. They seem very stuck in place.
Reloading!
45 seconds to go, G2. They have plenty of time to get the drones in, get the utility in. Still, Inox Scanner's not even being used by Kanto Rake. If he manages to land a footprint, that will indeed help them with that final push in. They can target somebody from Empire. The plant will go down from Goga. No surprise from him. And wow, what a spin there for Pengu on the window. A double for him, and he gets the triple kill. Pengu from G2 on the window plays. And the first attack for G2 is a good one.
I think so far the one kill we did see coming on the Capital here was that was more of a kind of a mess up of G2 getting caught mid sprint there instead of being ready for the push out on the Visa stairs. It's so decisive when they're doing their attacks, and we saw them pick the mute for top floor, but it didn't really have any impact. They still managed to drone up all the way. They're running a Thatcher, as we were talking about, right? Not this round, but that Thatcher eliminating 1 or 2 of the, well, I
Caster's Curse, We've had a lot of those Caster's Curses.
As long as they're running the Thatcher, then these mute jammers aren't going to do that much. And it's not that good of an operator unless you get something out of the mute jammers. I mean, often you'd rather see a bandit for that matter. A better gun, you destroy the gadgets instead of just muting a few drones here and there. So again, we're kind of struggling here with Empire seeming a little bit too stubborn to play the operator lineups that would help them instead of the ones that they feel like.
So once again, top floor defense being brought by Empire. No change in the lineup, and also G2, no change for their lineup either. Both of the teams sticking very strong by their guns. G2, they've had more flexibility in terms of the defensive operators they've brung, but just like Villa, that's the strategy that they think will work against Empire, because they know Empire, they're not going to change anything.
Yeah, I mean, a good reason that G2 never changed anything on their attack was that Empire had everything to counter it, and that didn't work.
Shock maybe looking to get a little bit frisky for himself. A potential jump out in towards the balcony could prove pretty vital if he gets an early kill onto a player like Kanto, or a kill onto Pengu as well. But looking at G2, they may be changing up their strategies and opting for that B push. I said that we haven't seen one of those yet from Empire, or we didn't see it last time from G2. They decided to go for the admin, but a quick change up, possibly predicting Empire may put some more resources and utility in towards holding the admin side. So looking at this, it all revolves around Eunice. He needs to have some pretty good fire bolts to try and get rid of all these very pesky spots that these players of Empire are trying to get themselves into.
Yeah, so Capital played on this Skylight can actually clear out 3 very, very common positions and squeeze these players out in the open where anyone playing a rappel on the west windows or the north windows of the bathroom can get a frag.
Goga pushing up yellow, finds himself a kill with that 5.56. However, a quick couple of refrags come in. Kanto picks up one before he does get traded off by Shock. The only person really for this defensive side who has put in any effort, and everybody else from Empire just standing by idly watching. And also, more importantly, Joystick gone off the board. A massive kill, and maybe we hype Joystick up too much.
I mean, if we look back at his performance and look at how well he played, especially in their Challenger League, their previous game against Ents, he was absolutely destroying people.
Talking about destroying, that's exactly what GT are doing to Empire, as all hopes lie to nobody, as they're all gonna be dead. GT, another easy attacking round, and yeah, a very good prediction by you, Alex, knowing that Empire, well, they certainly are struggling on the defense.
They just they don't seem to be playing in places that allow them for mistakes to happen. And as soon as they start losing 1 or 2 operators, or even not even the operators, but they lose, control of a certain area, they can't retake it. There isn't a plan B for when the initial guy falls. And when we see them rotate around, they're crossing from a rather good position to another good position, but in the open with every window and G2 on every rappel, holding all the lines of sight. There needs to be a setup that allows them to move and maneuver around a little bit more, and then they need to be more open to trying different operator setups to target counter some of what G2 is doing.
And they need to do that quick, because Pro League next week, I'm pretty sure everybody from Pro League is looking at Empire thinking, they don't change and they don't adapt and they don't have that flexibility. Maybe Empire will then start to struggle very heavily in Pro League. We kind of expected possibly from what we've seen from Challenge League and the Euro Cup. Let's not forget, they won a LAN event as well. Their first LAN event, they won, and there was teams there like Penta, of course. That was Penta very early on with their new players, Hungry and Sir Boss coming in. But still, Empire, they have that determination, they have the drive, but it's not being shown here against G2. But then, this is G2, who a lot of teams struggle against.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I mean, Empire are playing a very important match here because they have to win against G2 if they want to go to the Invitational. And the Invitational is $1 million tournament. So you'd assume they have really, really worked on this, and they would be very prepared for this. So it's a bit disappointing not seeing more, variation and swap-ups from it. It's a very loose and open play style, but still so stubborn on the operator setups.
And then if G2 do go on to win this and go into the grand final, we will then decide our invitational place in our next semi-final between Space Station Gaming and also Penta Sports. So after this match, whenever it does finish, we don't know, it could go to a third map. Anything can happen in Siege. Make sure you tune in for that decider of who gets to go to Montreal for that $1 million tournament.
Yeah, and we have to remind people that if we do go to the final, G2 is already locked in for Invitational. So it will be the $50,000 prize pool that people will be playing for instead of the Invitational spot if G2 does make it to the final.
And the shiny trophy.
Yeah,
always a bit of a
beautiful
plus,
trophy. Yeah.
Yeah, G2, they've never won a DreamHack yet as well.
That is true.
They lost to Secret back in Valencia, which that was a bit of a shaky time for them. They were still known Penta before they did get bought over by G2. Well, once again, Empire, bad start. Joystick gone off the board. And already G2 storming into that entire mid-floor. You can see Jonas getting in there with that skeleton key. Kanto picks himself up. One with that C70, a great assault rifle. Maybe not as good as what it used to be, but certainly can have the fragging potential if an Ash is off the board. Another one coming in for Jonas. He has that capo and the 5.56 ready and primed to start fragging out against Empire. And Kanto, I'm loving the positioning, trying to push in by himself through the back, catches these players of Empire by surprise. Cypher, however, refrags for one onto Jonas, but as you can see, Shepard stuck between a rock and a hard place. He cannot move as he has Kanto breathing down his neck, and just like that, a quick double for Pengu. Another pistol kill for him. And well, that's not only match point, but also series point.
We see this time and time again on G2's attack is against Empire. They end up in these 4v, 1 or 2 is how they end out the attack. They're completely choking down Empire, and it's not what we're used to seeing. They're stuck in sight. They seem afraid. They're not trying to peek or challenge, and when they do, they just get instantly shut down.
Empire haven't called a single tactical timeout. Why? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's very hard to explain away because ideally you'd the second you start, either getting ahead or start losing your grip, you want to take a little pause and reset. Talk about why is it that we're struggling so much?
Yeah, and talking about G2 versus Liquid. Liquid called a tactical timeout whenever G2 were winning, I believe, 4 rounds to 3. And then that completely threw G2. They told you themselves, whenever that timeout happened, the momentum stopped for G2. And that's something that does happen to teams where you slow down and then you sit back and, oh, I've lost the magic, I'm not into it anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe Empire needed to do one of those, not just to benefit their own by talking to their coach, but also maybe try and slow down G2 and make them sit back and don't let them get into the rhythm of Siege.
I mean, you could argue that popping a tactical timeout on, you know, the defense side when G2 is really just, they must be demoralizing to play against. They've been slaughtering Empire so decisively on the defense side that take a pause there, kill the momentum a little bit of G2, swap it up, you know, give it a fresh look and see what you can make of it.
That is Echo off the board within 30 seconds off the round. That was a spawn kill coming in from Cypher, and he is completely free. All of his utility, those Yokai drones can no longer be moved. They are now just a black eye camera in most cases, but they cannot be used to stun any of the attackers. Empire are giving G2 this victory right at their doorstep.
Yeah, let's hope those Echo drones are in a decent spot at least.
Bomb located by attackers.
Another one put into the grave. Joystick gone. Fabian picks him up that butt kill, and well, this is the beginning of the end for Empire. This is looking grimmer by the second. Pengu will rotate up to that position he played last time, over towards that double balcony, towards the windows, can also rotate his way towards that connector window. Also, will he find anybody? Goes for a couple of pre-fire shots, but really, Alex, Empire not looking too hot.
No, definitely not. It's almost a shame to see them struggle this much with how well they have been doing before. It doesn't even resemble what we have seen from them before.
Sure, we said quick 2-0, and the C4 just misses, landed right at the feet as well of Jonas. Karzeki, he will find Fabian. Shockwave also falls as Pengu, who was ever so lurking on the windows. A 1 versus 4. And that is almost done. Is down to Shepard. If he pulls off this 1 versus 4, what a clutch it will be. But there's too many players from G2. And they take